In the name of Christ who calls us. Amen.
Amen.
So welcome to Transfiguration Sunday. This is the waypoint, the midpoint in the drama, if you will, of the Christian year. We have the birth of Christ and the whole celebration of Christmas, and then we have the season of Epiphany, that ordinary time in which we learn about who Jesus is and Jesus is revealed to us. And then there's this mountaintop moment where Jesus is revealed in this glorious way, and it is literally the peak of the mountain from which he will descend into his struggle and his passion and his journey to Jerusalem. From this point on in Mark's gospel, this is actually right in the middle of the gospel, from this point on Jesus will be speaking of his death. And this is the first reference to it in Mark's gospel. So here we are, just about to descend into Lent. We are just about to walk with Jesus towards the cross. And Jesus does that curious thing again, which he does throughout the Gospel of Mark. After this huge revelation, he tells his followers not to say anything. Don't talk about this. And one has to wonder why Jesus is always telling people not to talk about it. It looks, at least on the surface, like he's quite concerned about controlling the message. And we will soon hear Peter get it really wrong. It is that ongoing problem of seeing but not understanding, of seeing part of the picture and not the rest of it. Mark is so ambivalent in the way Mark uses language about Son of God and Son of Man, these messianic and titles of great honor. Because though they evoke in some ways the purpose and mission of Jesus, they also veil it. They also veil it by inviting us to place Jesus on that high mountain and leave him there to be worshipped and adored. That's part of what poor Peter was about. He didn't know what to say, and he didn't know what to do. And so he gets this great idea. Okay, well, let's build a shrine. Let's build a shrine and put Moses and Elijah and Jesus in the shrine, and everybody can come and see, this is it, this is what Jesus came for. He hasn't figured it out yet. He's been quite confused all along, and now he sees, okay, he's grabbing at straws. He's grabbing at straws. Maybe the same straw you and I would grab under such dazzling circumstances. Maybe the same sort of straws we grab at all the time. Because it is wonderful and awesome to have a shiny Jesus on a mountaintop. And it's also kind of safe. But the voice comes from heaven, and the voice says, okay, Peter, calm down. Okay, you're right. This is my beloved son, but the big voice out of the cloud says, go and build a church. No. Go ordain a bunch of people. No. The big voice says, listen. Listen to him. The invitation is to pay attention to Jesus and follow Jesus. Do the things that Jesus talks about. Lovely to worship Jesus, but what voice from heaven is asking us to do is listen to him. We have the companion reading from Kings this morning. And in that one, the disciple gets it right. Elisha refuses to put Elijah on the pedestal. All the other prophets are standing at a distance, and they say, oh, you know, he's going to be taken away today. You better back off. I mean, something special is going to happen. You better get away. And Elisha won't hear of it. He insists on being right up next to his master, right up to the last minute. And at that last moment, when his master says, what is it you would like? He says, I want to be more like you. I want to be transformed into you, and even more so. Give me twice what you've got. That's not what Peter said. What we're being invited to do is that. To listen and to get ready and to follow. And the coming readings and the coming Sundays are going to be more and more and more of that thorny question of what it means to follow Jesus and be Jesus in the world. My last thought about this is about the idea of worship, because I think it is powerful. I mean, the act of worship, in my mind, is a way of centering us in the reality, the larger reality of God, as God is expressed in community. And what I find so beautiful about Jesus and the gift he gives us, you know, at the last, when it's time to talk about his leaving us, he gives us this wonderful ceremony. And in that ceremony, he doesn't say, you know, sing a bunch of praises to me and fall down on your knees and bow and kiss the ground and, you know, cross yourself 40 times and make sure you have your heads covered and you know, all those things we've come up with over the years to represent our devotion to God. What Jesus gives us to represent our devotion to God and our relationship to God is a meal. Simple food, bread and wine. Peasant food, what everybody ate in Jesus' day. He says, eat this. I'm not asking you to put me on a pedestal. I'm asking you to take me in to yourself. I'm not asking you to worship me from afar. I'm asking you to become me. To let me nourish you. Let me transform you. Let me give you that spirit that is mine. That we might be transformed, and Paul talks about that. How God has shined that light in our hearts to give us the knowledge of the glory of God in the face, in the human face of Jesus. So this is the crazy, difficult thing about worship. To hold at once that sense of glory and wonder, and at the same time, the whole humanity of it. And to participate, to receive the invitation